Hey, what's happening, Wargamers? Welcome to another video. We're going to be taking a look at some more Marvel Crisis Protocol stuff. This time it is the CP Pack 36, which is the apartment building, the New York City apartment building. So if you too would like to own some real estate in New York City, this is by far the cheapest way of doing it. So the format's a little bit different for this one because this is a beefy box. So there you can kind of get an idea how big it actually is. Now, there is a downside, because I'm going to be showing you a completely painted one as well. There is a downside to this box in that there is a lot of dead space in it here. So let's just, there's going to be a lot of camera movement, guys, on this one. So just let you know that one in advance. This one does not suit a fixed camera very well. So right off the bat, you open all this up, and this is what we are greeted with right here. Just a nice big box of nothing. There is nothing going on with that. So, unfortunately, it means that there is less content in this actual set than we would normally be getting here. Alright, so let's just get this box out of the way. Woo! Alright, there we go. So even though the box is not full, you can see here, that is still a hefty bag of content. It also comes with the sticker right here, which is kind of neat. You can put it on the billboard. It makes for a nice little additional detail to the terrain. However, if you have the multiple billboards, it's obviously going to be something where, you know, you're doubling up a lot. So there's different things you can do here. The instructions themselves, there's a lot of extra stuff. So like there's the water towers, which you see all the scaffolding for. There's a skylight. There is a the roof access right there. There's the billboard. Get some fire hydrants, which I'm actually kind of surprised are only coming out in this set, that we haven't seen them yet. I got some fire escapes as well. And then the building proper. So there's some options on how you want to do the front facing, but it's also designed in such a way that it's very easy to make it various levels without committing, which is kind of nice. So let us just grab this stuff open here, and I'm just going to quickly transition. So all the sprues are around, and as you can see, there is just a ton of stuff here, but it's all really decently sized stuff. You don't have to glue any of this onto the building itself, which is kind of nice. So you can actually keep this as separate terrain for throwing, which I think is what I might be doing. But for all the pieces there's actually not a lot of complexity to the models. Now this is where you get, this is where you get some of the options for the front-facing stuff. You know, one of them you can put Josie's bar from Daredevil. You have a nice blank sign as well, so if you just want to put your own storefront in there, awesome. You can see here we got one storefront on the front there, but then you can also pick up the other sides here. So there's a couple different options for how you want everything to look there, which I really like. It means that even with multiple buildings, you can still have some different looks. The same goes with the sides of the buildings as well. You can either get these sort of like nice windows right here that don't have any sort of abutments coming out of it, or you can have these ones right here, which we'll get to another point, another piece later on where you'll see we'll go in there, but they're just basically more detailed windows. These are all the pieces for the sides of the building. Yeah, so here's some of the extra windows right here that you can glue onto the building itself. That gives it a little bit more detail, a little bit more 3D aspects to it. There's a door front as well, but you see it comes with a good chunk of bits. Yeah, so another side piece right here. And the brick detail is actually quite nice. Having painted it up, it actually takes the airbrush paint really nicely. I've had no issues painting it up. I can get one done probably in about 20 minutes now, which is nice. Got the big flat, I believe that piece is the roof. Yeah, because this is the base right here, which is a size 5. And then, let's see, what do we got over here? Yeah, so we got some of the fire escapes right there. There's some air conditioner pieces. If you want, you can do a Nelson and Murdoch sign as well. There's some utility hookups. So all in all, there's actually a lot of really good components to this kit here. Oh, and here's kind of a nice other piece right there. Get some pigeons. So sadly, only 3 pigeons per box, I believe. I don't think there's more than that. But it's kind of neat to get something different. So we're going to take another quick jump here, and I'm going to show you the finished product. So we got the finished product here, and you can see it's very quickly airbrushed here, but for terrain, I never like it to upstage the actual models themselves. So this actually works really well for what it is. But you can see like the brick detail itself just picks up the paint really nicely, keeps the shading really nice. There was absolutely no washes on any of this, which just really adds to the simplicity of it all. So on the roof there, you can see all the little extra accessories here. So you got the water tower, which again, very simple. Same with the skylight, not much really happening with it, and the fire, or not the fire escape, but the roof access. And then we got the billboard in the very back there, which again, it's really cool. You don't have to glue it on or anything like that, and it's really neat. I'm actually working on getting a couple extra designs to go up there. I want to get one for my my local game store, Phoenix Rising, just to kind of get that up there, just as a quick nice nod. But anyway, back to the building itself. So you can see everything comes together, and each one is a layer of its own as well. So theoretically, if you wanted, you could make this a one-story layer. You could make it 2, you can make it 3. But with multiple kits, you could even stack it higher. You could go 4, 5, whatever. I think once you hit like 4 or 5, you're probably getting into the realm of not being very usable. But certainly it's something you can do if you want, which is really nice. The other thing is, now in my case, I glued all these layers together. But the other thing you can do is you can also assemble it in such a way where you don't glue the various layers on, and you can stack them as needed. Once again, I opted to glue them all on myself. I just wanted something that was a little bit easier to transport, and that's kind of where we're at for it. You need a little hydrometer right there, some back garage doors, some more things. All in all, though, it's an absolutely fantastic kit. I'm quite happy with it. It is a little bit costly for a piece of terrain, which is a little, I don't want to say disappointing, but it is a good kit. You get a lot with it, which I really like. I think it's definitely worthwhile, and I think it gives an extra little bit of flair to the game. Now, one of my only concerns with this particular kit, though, is that because all the other terrain are things like cars or, a work trailer or the bodegas, it's all very low terrain. So you get a whole bunch of terrain that might just be level with down there, which it doesn't really give it the feel of a built-up city. It feels more like you're fighting in small town suburbia or something like that, as opposed to New York City. Now, obviously, you can address that by getting a lot more apartment buildings, but that becomes really kind of pricey. I mean, I would love to make it so I have like just like a full city block of these things. So like 6 to 8 of these apartment buildings. So the street is just lined. It's very dense with buildings with a little bit of back alley or something like that. But honestly, that is so cost prohibitive. But it would make for an absolutely fantastic board, I think. The other catch is because you're dealing with a game where movement and height doesn't really matter. Like, it's always just a short movement to get up here unless you have things like flight or wall crawler. It's another factor that you don't necessarily need a whole lot of height because it's not going to make a big difference in the grand scheme of things. So I think overall it's a very impressive looking piece. I think it's a great addition to any board if you're running the New York terrain. I think it actually will fit nicely with a lot of other 28mm boards if you so like. So you use it with some different systems as well. But it fits very nicely with the Marvel Crisis Protocol stuff. I'm a big fan of it. I think it's definitely worth grabbing at least one for your home table or for your store if you have multiple people gaming there on a regular basis. It's very nice. It's also a piece of size 5 terrain, which not very many things can interact with in the game, which again, very nice. It's good to have that sort of permanency on the board. A lot of MCP games right now, like it always feels very sparse by the end of it because people are throwing terrain, colliding into terrain. So having a piece of terrain that's going to theoretically stick around till the end of the game, very nice. The other thing about it is that because it's size 5, you actually have something that's a true line of sight blocker at this point. You can put your models behind it and not be seen, and that's not something you get a lot of in the game. Like, you have the bodegas, which are size 3, I believe. You have the work trailer size 4, but there's not those are just a couple examples. But a lot of the other trend are things like the cars and everything like that, which you can't really hide behind. And I think that's something that Marvel Crisis Protocol as a game kind of needs a little bit more of. It needs to play a little bit more with things that can block line of sight. Because right now, everyone can sort of reach out and touch anyone. So it very much opens up that free-for-all aspect of it, where you get more terrain like this, and you can start playing a little bit more tactically. You can hide people behind it. You can force people to slow down their movement by having to climb over it or go around it. So in general, I think a terrain piece like this works really well. So I definitely like it as an addition. Anyway, there you go, guys. That is the New York City apartment building for Marvel Crisis Protocol. Let me know what you think in the comments below. As always, let me know what you like, what you didn't like, and be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Any little bit of support definitely helps. Lets me know what you guys are looking for, and helps me sort of decide what sort of content I have going forward. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, and as always, happy wargaming.